welcome back to another beautiful day at DreamHack Masters. We went through the Oceanic upper bracket yesterday and we ended up with Renegades and AVANT continuing their journey through that upper bracket after taking their victories. AVANT sealing the deal nice and safely themselves, and Renegades almost upset there. We've got Chiefs, who really started to show that that new lineup they had was very, very strong indeed. But today we have, the upper bracket matches. We've got Tyloo taking on Vici. You've got Renegades and AVANT going head to head. It is going to be absolutely spectacular. Well, I'm not going to keep you waiting. Let's get into it. So, day number 3, finally upon us, and it is going to be the upper bracket matches we've been waiting for. And of course, today again, I am joined by Pilski and Karath. Boys, how are you feeling after last night's scorches?
Feeling really good. I mean, today we're going to get into a matchup that I've been waiting a little while to see. Obviously, we've seen plenty of Order playing Renegades, but in Road to Rio, we were kind of deprived of that matchup. So I'm keen to see how AVANT shapes up against the best in the region after taking out Order last night.
Yeah, absolutely, and AVANT took it in comprehensive manner as well. They looked the good so far, and Renegades were looking just a little bit shaky against Chiefs, so it is going to be a bit spicy right now. I mean, even just after that, the Asia upper bracket finals as well, that's a great matchup. Tyloo versus Vici Gaming. It's just that domestic Chinese matchup once again, and I just don't know who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, and they've managed to have that extra day to regain themselves as well. Tyloo looked a little bit shaky, all things considered. You had Dan King firing on all guns. Hopefully we look to him to have another big performance tonight. And look, even Vici, they pretty much ran over Beyond.
Yeah, they did. That's exactly what you'd expect, though. They're not a team that usually gets upset. They're not a team that usually finds too much difficulty putting away some of the teams they're meant to beat. So not surprised about that one.
I think overall both results not that surprising. You were expecting Tyloo and Vici to make their way through. I thought looking at the results, it was pretty comprehensive. I tuned into some of the games that you guys were doing as well, and it looked pretty comfortable for a lot of the Chinese teams. A good thing for the Thai teams though, there's once again a glimpse of that potential that we've seen before in the past. Now they just have to stabilize and see how they go. So they've got a chance to show us tomorrow, but obviously today focusing more on the Chinese side.
Yeah, well, today, let's talk about today. We do have the Oceanic matches up first in the upper bracket. So that is going to be Renegades taking on AVANT there. And as you can see, AVANT looked easy yesterday up against Order. They managed to, take it to that second map, and Order started to come back, but it was just a little bit too late from them. And Renegades as well, dropping dust too, which is not something we're used to seeing. Chiefs looking strong with the new lineup.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. We're seeing that Order time and time again is a team that's very, very hot and cold. And yet last night it was cold, particularly against AVANT. They seem to be having some difficulties. However, this is a tournament bracket where it is a little bit more forgiving. They will be given an opportunity to be able to come through that lower bracket and have another crack at a Renegades or an AVANT, which is probably what they're looking for. I wouldn't be expecting them to see the Order dropping against Chiefs. As for the AVANT Renegades matchup, like I said before, it's been something I've been waiting for a little while, because the fact that Renegades wasn't in ANZ Champs, the fact that AVANT wasn't in Road to Rio, these are two teams that, even though they're considered to be high-tier teams in this region, they haven't been given a chance to play against each other. They've kind of been dodging each other.
Yeah, I mean, the last time that these guys have faced up was probably, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah,
so
feels like that.
That was to the initial minor qualifiers, where, I mean, Renegades actually took that victory, but it was still a close series overall. I think it was a 2-1.
Train off of them.
Yeah. So, and that's a bit of an indication as well, because we saw that yesterday AVANT looked really good on train. Sure, it's been 3 to 4 months, but we heard from Renegades that they're talking about maybe banning some of the strong maps. Obviously, I'm looking ahead a little bit here. It's going to be a very interesting veto process between both of these teams.
Yeah, well, before we get too deep into the conversation, we do always have to thank our sponsors again who do let the show go on. So once again, big shout outs to everyone sponsoring this tournament, DreamHack Masters. Well, so now let's get back into it. So it's going to be Renegades who are looking like the raid bosses once again today, but AVANT certainly surprised us yesterday when they look like they are back in form.
Yeah, the form of the teams is going to be pretty relevant. Like we said, you wouldn't be expecting Chiefs to take a map off of Renegades, especially not in convincing fashion. And some of the other teams have been saying that they think that Renegades is looking a little bit shaky as of late. Even though they are getting those victories, they almost lost in that Road to Rio Grand Final against Order. So I'm kind of a little bit skeptical that this is going to be a definite Renegades victory, particularly because there's not a whole lot of pressure on them in this upper bracket match. I wouldn't be surprised to see AVANT really come in firing on all cylinders and try to complete an upset.
I mean, the whole thing here as well, Renegades versus AVANT, which is going to be our first matchup, it's all down to preparation. I feel like AVANT's very much a team that's going to come into this. They're going to be doing the groundwork, whereas Renegades going to be coming in. They're just going to be looking at, all right, we're just going to do our stock standard thing. We're just going to do what works for us. We're going to focus on the basics. But the problem is that your basics can be exploited by AVANT, who've been looking into this. They've been looking the good so far this entire tournament. We saw against Order, they came in prepared, and they were ready for it, took the 2-0. Might be a similar scenario here where they can take the upset because of preparation.
Yeah, I feel like there is going to be a lot of preparation from both sides, though. You know, Renegades, yesterday we did have a chat with Dexter, and he said that they are feeling quietly confident going into this upper bracket match today. And the thing that surprised me the most is now that Renegades play all 7 maps in the pool, they can ban out the strongest map of their opponent every match they play.
In this region. Asterix in this region.
In this region.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Look, it's an interesting statement to be making. I personally don't believe it's really possible to be very, very solid on 7 maps for any team. You haven't seen it in Counter-Strike almost ever. So the fact that Renegades is able to do it, maybe at this level they can be confident on all these different maps against different opponents, and that's going to make it a little bit harder for a team to necessarily prepare for them because they can just go wherever they want in the veto. So maybe that's going to be a strength that Renegades can utilize. Personally, I don't really think that they necessarily even need to do that, though. I mean, they've just been so dominant in the region for such a long time. I think they're kind of just looking for a new challenge at this point. You know, no one's really been getting any wins off them. May as well just try to make it as hard as possible, try to play as many maps as possible, actually give someone a chance, perhaps.
Well, the problem is, if we're talking a little bit about maps right now, the AVANT pool as well as the Renegades pool kind of overlaps a little bit. You see a lot of the time that both of these teams love playing Dust too, but Renegades lost that yesterday. Maybe a bit of a glimpse for AVANT to kind of bring their own T side and try to take control of things. I know we're talking about maps and we're not going to veto just yet, but this matchup is just so interesting in that fact that there's just so much to really analyze, and you can't really just start from the basics, I guess.
Kev, on that point, we do have to go to a break before we get towards the pre-match, where we are going to break it down for all you guys before we get into the action. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.
What's raining is your rage, you're stuck in your ways. How come you can't forgive and forget, turning the page? You got us running around in circles, stuck in the maze. How come you can't open your heart, stuck in the face? Baby, you need to grow up once at your age. The way you talking now, you acting like I'm a lame. You flushing everything that we had down the drain. It'd never be the same again. But when I think about it, it ain't worth it. To try to work it out can't even serve a purpose. You see, the ego and pride is what hurts us. But if you acting this cold, then it's worthless. Baby, you did it to yourself. Why don't you go and be with somebody else? I hope he treats you better since it was hell. But there's a God in the sky, he never fails. Hope you live to tell. Like we used to do, 'cause I hate what I hear when I talk to you. 'Cause it's one line and another line just to get by. And nowadays things never seem like they used to be. 'Cause I hate what I feel when you're next to me. 'Cause it's one line and another line just to get by. Baby, let it rain, precipitate. Go on and pop a bottle. Go ahead and celebrate. You an independent woman now. It's a fact, but there's no turning back. Why? Cause it's a rap.
We never talk like we used to do. Cause I hate what I hear when I talk to you. Cause it's one lie and another lie just to get by. Nowadays things never seem like they used to be. Cause I hate what I feel when you're next to me. Cause it's one lie and another lie just to get by. Rain on me. The things you do, and I have to move on. Rain on me.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Yeah, I wanna. Are you working the field? You're in my playground, throwing back the funk sound. I sidestep, feeling fine. I'm all in, take it high. Oh, what's the word on the scene? We've been kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on. Are you getting a thrill?
Welcome back, DreamHack Masters. It is time to discuss the pre-match, discuss what's going to go down between Renegades and AVANT here. As, look, it is going to be a banger of a matchup. We haven't seen this for months now. We were speaking about it here on the desk before, but now it's time to really go into the deep dive. So, map pools are a question we'll ask about later. Who do you think is going to be the key players tonight for both teams?
I mean, I think if you're looking at an AVANT, it's always Hazard for me. I keep bringing it up time and time again, but you know, I feel like Sterling's pretty consistent, even though he didn't really have to do very much yesterday against Order. It very much was just like a effort by committee. Everyone was sort of fragging up. I think, you know, there's plenty of different players that can pop off for this AVANT squad, but it's a question of individual consistency, because when you go up against a squad like Renegades, all 5 of them good firepower across the board.
Yeah, I think for me at the moment, the problem for both teams is the small site players. They've been tested a lot of the times and found a little bit weak on both sides. I feel like this is the part where they really need to start stepping up, regardless if it's Mirage, Oceania, or whatever. They need to start playing that site really, really well, because this is where Renegades and AVANT on their T side, they're going to exploit it and try to find that weakness and try to probe it and just utterly destroy any defense. So yeah, that's what I feel like are going to be the key players for this matchup.
Of course, of course. Now, speaking of key players, let's have a look who is here on AVANT's lineup. So you saw them yesterday. It is going to be Apox, Sterling, Blitz, Offnu, and Hazard. So you know them, you love them. And all of them were playing pretty miraculously yesterday, especially Hazard. We had his interview. He was just entering like a god. Now, I'm interested to see, do you think that he can do that against Renegades?
He can do it. It's just a question of whether he will. That's the thing. You look at a lot of these AVANT series, there's some inconsistencies series to series between certain players, even, you know, dropping series to teams they shouldn't be losing to from time to time. So it all comes down to just how consistently they can bring that performance. I don't have faith that someone like Hazard can play like that every game. He's shown that he, particularly in some pressure games, will sometimes have a lackluster performance. That's not necessarily to say that he's going to do it today. I want to see him step up, and I want to see the A-grade AVANT, because I think they have a real shot at upsetting a team that you usually wouldn't be able to, because Renegades' form is looking a little bit shaky.
I mean, one good thing as well for AVANT at the moment, you can say that Blitz has been on a new tear recently, and when he was IGLing for AVANT, his form really dropped off, and normally you're looking to such a player to actually bring such huge impact. He really wasn't. I mean, I'm talking a little bit about Blitz here. Obviously, we're highlighting Hazard, but Blitz had a really good series. I felt like he had a better series yesterday than Hazard did. So
yeah, he went all right, but look, Hazard made those impact frags, of course. Jared Aubrey, son of Deb Aubrey, who's probably watching the broadcast again. Supportive mums, big thanks to all the mums out there supporting their gamer sons, you know, because someone's got to do it, and if it's ourselves, we usually are going to debt. Luckily, we're not there yet.
Yeah, luckily. I mean, it's a little bit more profitable if you're one of the best players in the region, unlike, you know, someone that's burnt toast like myself and eventually has to be like, oh, it's probably not good enough to just finish in Division 2 every single season and never get anywhere. So I have to probably go do something else, like have a bit of a cast.
True. He is burnt toast. That's where we're going with that
I
one.
just,
Anyway,
I just decided to start commentating because otherwise all the talent would have no chance versing against me. So I'm a little bit forgiving in that sense.
you're on the other
Yeah.
side of it.
Pretty much. Now I'm a little bit older, maybe a bit more chance for the youngins, but still, no chance, my friend. I'll still
Speaking
delete
of,
them.
I'm just still waiting for the day that someone retires and comes in and asks for a job, because the only person that has done it in the Australian region is this man. He didn't even ask.
I pretty much just went one weekend like, hey man, I wouldn't mind giving some Counter-Strike casting a go, and they were like, yeah, all right, come cast some Counter-Strike, and then I've just been here every weekend
Yeah,
since, pretty
I
much.
got stuck with this guy first up, so that was really painful for me. So don't remind me of that, Mac. It's painful times. Painful.
Painful times in.
Should probably talk about the game though.
We should probably talk about the game, and
Good
I've got
game.
something for you. I have the Renegades line up to have a quick look at as well, because they are on fire right now. A bit of a slip yesterday by dropping a map, but they've dropped 2 maps recently, and look, you'd say that that's not usually a big deal, but we're so used to seeing Renegades winning every match they have in a 2-0 fashion in the domestic scene.
Look, there's only so much space in the team, and it's interesting that you look at this Renegades roster. The players that I like to keep an eye on is that Hats and Malta, their performance goes up and down. You can't always have 5 people performing very, very well across the board. So the main 3 who are bringing a pretty consistent level of performance is Inns, Dexter, and Sicko. The other 2, depending on the map, depending on the role, you will see Malta have a pretty big game from time to time. You will see Hats have some pretty big halves, depending, but he's very much, put in some of those more supportive roles, in those anchor roles where he's not taking as much space as some of the others. So it's just going to be a question when, like Kevin said, some of those players are tested, if they're going to be match fit and match ready and consistent enough to be able to have the impact that they need to, because they're not given the chance to do it as much as some of the others.
I mean, but the danger is when you look at a roster like Renegades, right? You can say that, okay, they're a little bit inconsistent at times, but I feel like that's also because they play default a lot as well. So you look at your player like Hats in Malta, they might struggle a couple of times. You might find the weakness in 1 or 2 rounds, but they have so much experience and the ability to micro-adapt around it. It just becomes so difficult to do it consecutively and to try to find success in multiple rounds against them. So, look, they might be struggling in a couple of them. They'll come back and fire up. That's why this Renegades roster is so scary in my mind.
Yeah, everyone really firing on all guns, especially yesterday, And as we go towards the match, look, we're getting closer and closer towards the veto. So before we fully discuss it, Renegades, where do you think that they'll be heading here in the matchup? Because AVANT, look, they're probably going to go for that Vertigo ban, knowing that Renegades at least can play it. It's just a
ban.
confusing situation.
I don't think they care about whether Renegades can play it. They're just going to ban it anyway. They're just not interested in playing it. They've shown that time and time again. So, I mean, that's going to give them a distinct disadvantage in the veto, because Renegades is going to be able to ban a strength away from them. AVANT's going to have to ban something out of necessity. At least AVANT's going to be able to get a good map for them. It's really going to... It comes down a little bit to who's going to be able to get that first pick off, because I really feel like it's pretty important to be the team nowadays who's able to pick between the last 2 maps.
Yeah, I mean, for here, first pick, I don't know who's going to contest Dust 2, right? Is Dust 2 going to even be the first pick right now? The telling part for me is what Renegades is going to ban, because that's a big indication to what they're scared of from AVANT, right? Is it going to be your Mirage ban? Because I feel like AVANT could definitely take Mirage off Renegades. Renegades haven't looked too crash hot on Mirage, unlike AVANT, who have been looking really, really solid on it. Train's also a pretty scary matchup as well. So it's just a question right now, what are they scared of from AVANT?
Yeah, well, it's not really AVANT that need to be the ones who Renegades are scared of, it's themselves. And that's going to be Ince, who we're going to quickly highlight here. The man, if he is on fire, Renegades have no worries at all. And look, while we're on it, speaking of gamer mums and gamer sons, Ince, yet another one with a supportive mother. Annette out there probably watching. Hey, how you doing? Anyway, Ince, he's sharp. And when he's on, Renegades are looking good.
I think he's going to be a pretty important player in this series, because I think a lot of the maps that we're going towards, I would assume Inferno is going to be in there somewhere. That banana control is pretty important, and Inns has been pretty good at maintaining that on the T and the CT side. He's very consistent on that Inferno map, just getting that control and having big impact.
I mean, I was going to say a bit of magic in both of his names. Obviously, Inns an alias from old 1.6 times. He's definitely lived up to it, as well as Potter. Some say also magical as well.
Of course, of course. Well, if he is going to use any of this magic, we need to see where he's going to be doing that, and it all boils down to the veto to see which maps we will be playing in this best-of-3 series here in the upper bracket. So we had a quick discussion of what we think we're not going to see. I feel like we can just bring those up. It's probably going to be a Vertigo ban from AVANT and Renegades, or maybe get rid of Train?
It's going to be a Train or Mirage ban in my mind. If it's something else, then they would have seen AVANT being... Like, they would have to at least have some scrim results. I wouldn't ban out Nuke because yesterday, AVANT's performance against Order was still a little bit shaky on Nuke. As Renegades, I'd be pretty confident coming into that.
Dust 2.
Why would you ban Dust 2 if you're Renegades? That doesn't make any sense.
Because you can... I mean, it doesn't make sense, but at the same time, you look at the game yesterday, you look at upset potential for an underdog team. If you play so many maps, maybe you just get rid of the maps where it's more possible to be able to put together those upsets.
Yeah, but they also have had that practice on Dust 2 now against a team that defeat them, so
they're
maybe
they're a great map on.
Yeah.
They're a great team on it, but by the same token, inherently, it's just a map where exactly like we saw happen yesterday. Sometimes, no matter what happens, if it's just the right game, you can be beaten on it by anybody.
Yeah, sometimes if the right team gets rolling at the right time, then upsets happen. And look, let's just bring up the bans and see where we're not going to be going. So there's no Vertigo and no Train. So boom, on the money. I was there. Renegades obviously seen how strong AVANT looked on Train yesterday and didn't want to deal with it now. So we are going to be going into the picks now. Looks like AVANT will get the first pick there. Where do you think they're going to be trying to angle this veto?
I think Mirage.
It's curious, yeah. Maybe I reckon a Mirage or a Dust 2. I think they really need to focus on using those individuals and just get a map where they can try and like, I guess, get a streaky sort of momentum-based game going and be able to put together an upset like that rather than relying on it go to the mid to late round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe an overpass. I don't know if AVANT would even like to play that map against Renegades.
Maybe.
That's like
The thing is,
overpass
I haven't seen them have a tendency to want to play it against anybody else, so
Well,
it would be an interesting pick.
I'm going to let you guys stop thinking and start seeing, and let's see where we're going to be heading for the picks.
Dust 2,
It's
yeah.
going to be
I
Dust
like
2
the
and Nuke.
approach.
Ooh, okay, nice. And let's just go ahead and have a look at what the third is there as well. So Overpass taken out by AVANT. Pretty stock standard. Mirage from Renegades gone, so they are feeling it on their Inferno at the moment. Do you think that this is favouring anyone? AVANT have gone for that Dust 2 pick. So they've secured it.
I think it's a good map pool for AVANT to try to put together an upset. Obviously pretty shaky on Nuke, but they've got that Dust 2 in nice and early. They've already seen the ability to put together a potential upset. It's a map that they've played since the inception of their lineup, and I think it actually really does fit their individual players. You've got a very solid AWPer, you've got some riflers who can make some mid-round plays and play by themselves or sort of in more of a pack to be able to take map control. So I think it's a good pick from AVANT. It's a little bit risky because it's a strong map for Renegades, but I don't think, you know, the map pool matters as much when, you know, you just want to be able to get some of those maps where you can have those streaky games on it and try to put together an upset, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this would slightly favour Renegades a little bit, just because of Nuke. AVANT didn't impress me on their T side, to be honest. I felt like they got a little bit lucky to take that victory against Order, in all honesty. And then coming into Inferno as well, Renegades is pretty solid on Inferno. So, and AVANT sometimes haven't looked as good on Inferno as they should. So, might be a 2-1 for Renegades, might be a 2-0, who knows?
Could be a 2-0, but Kev, we've seen where he's put his cards. Anyway, we are going to go to a short break before we get into the first map of the series. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you then.
Flashbang's affected. They have got through the smoke wall here, but Chris J, he is the final boss of the bomb site.
Now Spitty and Chris J to keep Mousesports alive.
Oh, Chris! He's found 3. It's down to a 2-on-2. Chris, can he close this with an ace? Oh my God!
Can they actually close this out? Boom, Chris.
Fantastic way to start, and no scopes on him himself. Absolutely saving Mousesports.
Hey, it's me, Lily from AT&T. I'm back, working from home, and here to help.
Hey Lily, I'm hearing a lot about 5G. Should I be getting excited?
Depends. Are you going to want faster speeds?
I will.
More reliability?
Oh, also yes.
Better response times?
Definitely.
Are you going to be making sourdough bread?
Oh, is that 5G related?
No, just like, why is everyone making sourdough now? But yes, you're going to want 5G.
AT&T is building 5G on America's best network. Visit att.com to learn more.
I'm coming back to you. I swear it's the last time I'm going. 'Cause I know we got that something. It lights up the dark at night. So you keep the engine running, and I'll be the headlights. You and me were headed for the end of time. 'Cause nothing lasts forever. I'm not giving up without a fight. Wake me up. I'm going home tonight. And everything's alright. 'Cause I know we got that something. It lights up the dark at night. So you keep the engine running, and I'll be the headlights. You and me were headed for the end of time. 'Cause nothing lasts forever. I'm not giving up without a fight. I'm not giving up without a fight. I'm not giving up without a fight. Now you're gone. A million to one. You're all that I want, and now another day, another night, but just the same as yesterday. It's hard to say I'll make it through, but I keep going anyway. Where did you go now? I need to get to you somehow. What can I do now? I've got to find a way. You're a million to one. You're all that I wanted. Now you're gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get into the first map of the first series of the day. AVANT and Renegades ready to battle it out, and so ready that they're trying to get out of the gates. So I am, of course, joined by Pilski and Karath, who will be casting the first map. And boys, let's have a quick look at what you've predicted, or how you've predicted this series to go. All right, we'll just bring those up. But Pilly, please talk me through this one, because we seem to be seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, Renegades is a better team. You would expect them to win, even though they haven't played AVANT for a while. They've been dominant in the region. It's not really anything too complicated. The only reason why you would pick AVANT is if you would be really, really confident that they were in good enough form to win this series. And then for Order, I mean, yeah, they were underperforming the other day.
And Kev, before you tell me what's going on, do you want to change anything now that you know what the veto is?
Look, all I'm going to say is maybe AVANT can take a victory. The safe bet for me is going to be Renegades. That's why I predicted Renegades. But an upset can always happen. AVANT have a better chance of actually causing an upset, knowing that Renegades are susceptible to some individual plays. And AVANT, if they come in the form that we saw yesterday, big chance. Big chance indeed. So it is going to be Dust 2 to kick things off, and that is exactly where the upset happened yesterday. So we'll see if Renegades are going to be able to fight off AVANT and take the first pick. Look, the Betway odds certainly favouring Renegades in the matchup, and understandably so, really similar to what we had there as the predictions. Now, Pilly, I'm assuming that Renegades are going to start on the T side. I'm just, I'll get that one checked in
You
a
would
second.
hope so, but I've seen them start on the CT side a couple of times on this map against different opponents, so it's really up to them. If they do choose to start on the CT side and they get absolutely blasted by a streaky T side, you know, just going to shrug my shoulders and go, yep, cool. Like, you know, you could have avoided it. Could have started off the momentum nicely to start on the T side yourself.
Could have. Well, they do get to choose their favoured side regardless, and it is time for the first map of the series. Pilski and Karath bringing you the action. I'll see you after the map.
Thank you, Matt. Into the pistol round we go, and a long-awaited matchup. It is going to be Renegade starting on the defensive side, and AVANT going to be probing the defensive, or defenses nice and early.
Love to hear the reasoning behind that, because I've seen them do it quite a couple of times already. Regardless though, you are going to see AVANT very quickly go towards this long area, which won't be contested by Renegades, so that's going to be a fair amount of map control for them, fully for free. Meanwhile, Renegades are exploring the lower dark, upper tunnels, getting a fair bit of information as they start to push out mid, multiple spots out this A site push that is beginning to start here as the crossover smokes are thrown out.
Yep, just a single smoke for now, though. Flashbangs.
It's a double.
Oh, it's a double smoke.
Yep.
My bad. And they will be crossing, but Sicko just deletes Sterling on the cross. Very unfortunate for him. All the CTs geared up for this post, for the retake, for the post plant. But you do also have Blitz lurking over at mid, as at least Offnu is able to pick off one CT player over there at ramp. Smoke's going to be fading. Not much for the CTs to use in terms of utility. Dexter's retrieved the kit. Has a flashbang as well. Blitz slowly coming in from behind at the moment. Can be the difference maker right now. He's going to be pushing in. And the crossfire so far working for AVANT. 2v3. Now all down to Inns right now, but he doesn't have a kit. Great stuff coming out from Hazard nice early on. As AVANT take the pistol round.
Yep, that's going to put them in a fantastic position going forward. Keen to see if Renegades is going to force up on this CT side and try to get straight back into game, or whether they will take a more passive approach and just take a save. They have been more liable to force as of late, so it's not surprising to see that come out. 2 scouts, handful of deagles. See what AVANT's approach is going to be in this anti-force. They're going to go straight for this long control once again. Couple of flashbangs being thrown out, and they've got full control of long. They're going to do with that though. Couple of options. Once you take control of this part of the map, you can just slow things down and go back for some other map control. Go and take short. Go and try and see if Renegades has tried to gather any information and punish any potential pushes. Or you could just go for the site execute, whether you want to smoke short and CT or you want to smoke the crossover. Sterling jumps into pit and actually gets picked by Dexter there.
That's some crazy shooting coming out from the Desert Eagle in that distance. Gets the body tag and the headshot as well. But good double pick coming out from AVANT. At least equalizes the numbers. Now committing onto the A-bomb site. The Shadow's been spotted. So Dexter going to try and find the pick through the smoke. But it's actually Inns retrieving the scout. Now able to chime in to help Renegades try to cause an upset.
But trying to get this bomb plant down. See Dexter's lurking in that smoke, but there's several spams over the top of the smoke there. It's all on Dexter. Waiting for that smoke to dissipate. Does find the timing and pick up Offnu. And Blitz, that's a double!
Oh, it's all down to the Deagle shots at close range. Apoc survives on 6 HP.
Oh.
How does AVANT not check that? Surely they were suspecting that Dexter was still over there in the smoke, but they thought he rotated out nice and early on.
Might have expected that a double spam through gives them a little bit of a false sense of security there. That's pretty phenomenal shooting with the Desert Eagle from Dexter. a hell of a lot of damage to that T-side economy. One more bullet if he landed it on APOC, I think it was, towards the end of that round, and it would have been Renegades. Regardless, though, they are going to full save into the next round. I feel like that's damage done if you take 4 of the guns off the T's. Now starting to push into middle. It's a bit of an eco slaw for Hazard. These are exactly what you want to be seeing from him. Bit of confidence for the young man. You know, some people, they're like, yeah, eco frags are eco frags, but it feels pretty good to 4K Renegades.
$1,200 as well. Oh, yep. More than 1,200. Sorry, 4 kills with the SMG. That's 2,400. So always great. That's nearly enough to buy an AK-47 if you do decide to upgrade. If you can stick with the MAC-10 as well. You know a lot of the CTs won't have head armor, but actually, now that I said that, you can see Renegades protecting their noggins, investing the extra 350 and not taking any risk, as I know AVANT might be tempted to stick with the bonus round for some of their members.
They have gone for that. It is actually the double AWP from Renegades very early on. AVANT not going for anything too quick at this point. It's working their way through lower dark, and it looks like they're getting ready to go for a bit of a mid to B split. Renegades are sort of leaning more heavily in that direction. You see Inns over there towards CT spawn, trying to control any movement, but he will be smoked off surely. Any second now, there it is. That's going to put a lot more pressure on Dexter and Hats to hold down this B split.
Look at Malta though, he's trying to get control of the extremity as the T's are going to be going, but Dexter's got the AWP working it in perfection at the moment. He's able to pick off 2 attacking T's, Hat's also able to help out, but out comes that B split at the moment. APOC going to be charging through, and Sterling going to be trying to commit to the plan as APOC has been dinked out.
These are getting comfortable on the bomb side here, but Malta's coming in fast with this flank as the bomb goes down.
Yeah, and Sterling has been spotted out, which means that Sterling is pretty much the man that has to do most of the damage. APOC is just too low on HP. You can see not really much of a chance. Sterling's been spotted out.
Whoa.
Can't land any shots. Great retake coming out from Renegades, not losing a single member.
Yeah, it's sort of the cherry on top that Inns is able to spam one of those players through that CT smoke as they try to cross up into that B-bomb site. Dexter gets a double with the AWP, and both of those AWPs are retained heading into the next round. So AVANT, Hazard with all those MAC-10 skills will be able to drop off new an AK, so plenty of money to go for yet another buy. But they haven't really done, I'd say, they did acceptable damage, but not really what they were looking for. With only 3 kills on that CT side, will allow them a very, very good buy once again here.
Look at this coming out from Renegades. One person fighting long as well as a boost short. Surely you won't be expecting this.
Both of these players blind, but it's gone the way of Renegades, and now this long take coming out from AVANT. A lot of pressure on Malta, and he does not pick the timing correctly. Sicko's able to pick one player in response, so still up in members for Renegades. AVANT do have that map control, and they're going to choose to slow things down and go and retake some map control, try to find the evening out of the numbers in some other part of the map, find one of the CTs getting a little too aggressive perhaps. They are just moving as a pack straight down middle here.
Trying to rely on Sterling's AWP to try to find this pick over at short, but Dexter's actually rotated over at mid as well. APOC dropping that CT smoke grenade as AVANT letting the time tick away, just trying to listen and try to draw out some of these CT rotations as they're committing in. But APOC charging through, gets sprayed down by Inns, who has held this short position to perfection. Now Sicko's under a bit of pressure. He's going to have to fall back. But the T's actually not really committing on the cross. Not really much utility for them to work with either.
Cross smokes come out for AVANT as they try to make their way to the bomb site. But plenty of rotations in from Renegades. But these are great kills to come out to even out the numbers for AVANT.
Yeah. But Dexter's at close at the elevator position. Sterling picks up the flank, and AVANT have managed to bring it around 2v4. Great entries coming out from Hazard and Sterling to allow them to get the A bomb plant down.
This is exactly the kind of game you want to be seeing coming out from Hazard. Multiple rounds, he's had some pretty big impacts, and it's not easy to turn around a 2-on-4 against Renegades of all teams. Usually they're the ones that are 2-on-4ing you. So that's excellent from AVANT. Winning a round they had no business winning, putting Renegades on that single save and allowing them to streak ahead on the T side. And again, at what point when you're Renegades do you look at these kind of score lines against Chiefs, against AVANT and go, this Dust 2 map is kind of brutal when you start on that CT side, when you're losing some of these rounds. But let's be real, They shouldn't even be in this position. This should be 2 to 3 at the moment. They should definitely not have been losing that 4-on-2.
Blitz might just get peeked on by Hats at the moment. That's an AK retrievable as well as map control. If not, if Hazza has anything to say about it. Who's pretty sharp. He's on point right now with the rifle. And Sicko, I don't know if you want to be challenging him at the moment. But
maybe just due to the fact that you just want to get some damage in. Not really concerned about losing your life when all you have to show for it is a P250.
So as Hazard deflects that aggression, it just allows AVANT to head over to the A bomb site. He's trying to take a few duels right now, and he's going to win them as well. In's going to be looking for that AK-47, but Hazard's already done the work. He's already thrown that AK out of the map. And Inz is going, where the hell has it gone?
He's bamboozled him, but he might have been bamboozled himself. I think Inz has found a great timing here.
Uh-oh, they're back-to-back at the moment. So at least Inz is able to find an AK.
Yep.
And I'd say for AVANT, probably not worth the hunt at the moment. Their economy isn't that great either.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Don't want to be losing extra guns on top of the 2 you already have. As for Inz, I mean, Renegades has shown a tendency to want to go to those double orbs. He could definitely throw one over. Oh, I think it might be just a little bit short, actually.
They can still afford it. They'll just have to go lacking on utility.
Might go lacking on the armor, to be honest. I think he's 50 bucks short. But then maths on stream. Don't do it.
They've gone for the armor as opposed to utility, so...
Yeah, he hasn't dropped it over, but they still have gone for that double AWP. Either way, it is the long control for Renegades this time around, as well as that AWP player over towards tunnel. Oh, Apoc's in a bit of a pickle. Just going to expend his own smoke grenade. He's definitely sort of caught between a rock and a hard place in this situation. If he gets out of it alive, he's going to be feeling pretty good.
Pretty patient. Dexter misses the shot, though. Which means at least Apoc gets away with his life. Was spotted crossing over to that box position a little bit earlier on.
Now AVANT making their way up catwalk. Definitely want to be dodging the AWP shot of Sicko in that direction as well, but they're not going to full commit over to that side.
Yeah, I mean, Sicko's also playing an off angle as well. I think he's over towards Stewie, or is he on that CT box? A little bit hard to tell from here. That's definitely an off angle.
He's up on top. Yeah, he's on a bit of an off angle, yeah. Regardless, though, not really going to make too much of a difference in this round. It will just be the contact play straight out B into Hats.
Oh, he's watching it, though. This flashbang has to be great, but it's not good enough. And it's Dexter actually taking point, but Hazza once again just making it work for AVANT with the entries. Blitz has chimed in as well, stopped any CT control.
Yeah, he's got himself a 2K, and that's excellent stuff. Just the you know, extra stroke on top is just controlling those rotations through the middle of the map with one player. Can't allow the CTs to rotate through CT spawn towards B slope. You always want to be cutting the map in half on that T side. That's good stuff for AVANT. Just trading down the numbers and then having that extra man limiting the rotations. It's simple Counter-Strike, but it's effective.
Yep, and once again, it's just Hazard doing the impact at the moment. 13 kills, 172 ADR.
It's insane. Yeah, he's having a fantastic game so far.
Exactly what you need for AVANT coming into a series like this.
He literally is the difference maker, right? Like when he's not playing well, AVANT's, you know, usually the scoreline's the other way around. When he's having a good game, AVANT is always smacking their opponent around. There's never a game where you're like, oh, Hazza has 15 kills and AVANT's losing. But some of the other lads, you know, you've seen hard carry performances from Sterling or someone like that, and they can still lose.
I mean, Hazard's the entry man at the end of the day, right? So if he's able to get the entries and you crack open a bomb site, then she'll be right, mate.
Yep, create some more space.
Renegades actually calling attack timeout at the moment. I mean, before yesterday, they hadn't dropped Dust 2 in a very long time against any of their Oceanic counterparts. Might be 2 from 2 at the moment. AVANT looking the good so far. Nice and early on. I mean, it's not over just yet. There's still an entire series to play. Still an entire map still, as Renegades have a chance of bringing back the scoreline at the very least. If they can get 5 or 6 on the CT side, can try to make their own T side come back.
Yeah, and even every round where they have Deagles and armor with just one weapon is rounds you see Renegades win all the time. AVANT again forcing their way out long. Haven't really been contested. Not once have AVANT been shut down trying to take long control. I think yesterday Chiefs had a similar sort of run. Every time they tried to go for that long control, they were able to get it pretty successfully off of the Renegades.
I mean, that was helped by the fact that APOC Dud was just getting entries, like Hazard is at the moment. So
I mean, half the time he's just running out there on his own.
Definitely helps a lot of the time.
Yep.
Utility starting to tick away from Renegades at the moment, as Avant are going to be gearing up for this A-site cross blitz. Just going to be left on the lurk at the stage. Sicko going to be over at Ninja. First point of contact, but he's being mollied off. Has to try to fight it, but Hazard, given the second chance, will take it with both hands. Finally put down as the boost from CT picks another one off.
Definitely getting messy. Losing a lot of players on the side of Avant. Their economy still hasn't fully built up yet. It's looking pretty decent, but losing these guns definitely makes a difference. And you're looking at someone like Malta, who's got an Emperor A4 as well as the armor. There really is potential for him to be winning a round like this if he picks the right timing. And this might be perfect if he comes in through CT and gets Blitz here.
Yep, oh, but Blitz is looking in the right direction. And Malta just can't fix the spray, unfortunately. Blitz alive on 8 HP, cleans up that round eventually.
92 in 4. Thanks, M4. Good gun. Love those CT weaponries.
But a very messy round overall from Avant, as Renegades able to at least get a couple of kills across with the Desert Eagles. Now need to make it work with the AWPs and rifles.
Double AWP once again.
That's a better start for Renegades.
Yeah, good opening pick towards middle. Stopping Hazard, running down middle. So it's going to be up to some of these other Avant players to crack the round open.
And here's the thing, Dexter's just brought the AWP straight back into the B bomb site. There's no one watching middle at this stage. No map control for Avant. Over at mid, over at short. That said though, Renegades more than happy just to sit patiently on the A bomb site for now and just allow ins maybe to probe in a little bit. Regression smoke and flashbang coming out. Avant not committing just yet. They are leaving the bomb over at upper talk.
Yeah, both of the smokes into middle. Sort of obscuring any information from the CTs. Blitz walks out there. Gets spammed a little by ins. Nice little boost over the smoke.
Oh, that's a great timing as well. But now Dexter, he's the man that's holding the bomb site right now. He's trying to play anti-flash, trying to stay alive. Volley doesn't hit it. No, does manage to push him out in the open, but he's still alive. Can't really fight for much longer as Sterling picks up his counterpart. And now Blitz off the hook at the moment. Trying to get a few frags. Really wary about mid. He's looking in the right direction. It's all down to timing right now for both the team. The CT. And Blitz is going to come out on top of that once again.
Pretty timid from Malta there. Been a while since I've seen Renegades players look like they're afraid to just swing out and get those frags.
Oh, but the timing once again favors Blitz. Sicko misses a shot. And Avant. 7 rounds of difference at the moment. Money's starting to build up on some of these players as well.
I think it's flashbacks to yesterday for Renegades. But here's another CT half where they're getting absolutely dumpstered.
Here's the thing though, Avant, it's not as if it's just raw aim that's getting them out of some situations. It's just really patient play, really good discipline as well across the board.
It's just simple Counter-Strike. Like, they're playing pretty well in terms of just hitting those sites, trading down material, making sure they're using the right utilities on the way in. Blitz is doing a good job. You know, he only has a couple of kills to his name, but he's constantly applying pressure on those rotations.
Well, he's been an absolute nuisance so far, and he's been able to win those duels as well, stopping any rotations, any potential retakes from Renegades before they can even begin. And this is just absolute perfection coming out from Avant at the moment, reading the aggression from the CT side. Sterling.
Just holding those angles.
Doesn't need anything fancy with the AWP sometimes.
No.
Just hitting the ones he needs to.
I would say that Sterling is not a fancy AWPer. Very stock standard, holding those angles. Not making mistakes.
Because Fancy's AWPing for Tyloo occasionally, that's why.
Dad jokes, ready for fatherhood.
Yeah, okay, APOC's going to chuck that bomb over to the A bomb site as the T's all looking for the hunt. Sterling won't land that flick, and Hats making this one very costly at the moment with just a Desert Eagle. Eventually put down by Offnu, is able to find the timing.
Yeah, it goes down. Economy is very strong for Avant, as you would expect a team up 9-1 to have.
But it just shows these rounds haven't even been close right now, these last couple of them. AVANT have just been taking these so cleanly, not allowing the CTs to save.
It's a very uncharacteristic game for Renegades, but at the same time, this exact same thing happened yesterday, so might be some question marks in terms of that map pool going forward.
Double up once again out in play, and it's looking like a contact B. Hat's coming out maybe just at the right time as well, but Dexter's going to be on point so far. And finally, it looks like this B bomb site's going to be held. As it's all down to Sterling on his lonesome. Can't land that close range shot as Inns finally has managed to dispatch of that dirty lurker in Blitz.
Much better hold. I mean, look, AVANT's been doing a very, very similar thing the last couple of gun rounds, time and time again. Just pressure towards B with pressure on middle doors. Maybe back towards that long A play, perhaps. Keep things fresh, keep mixing things up. There's the corner smoke. Couple of flashes thrown out. Renegades looking to challenge this, looking to shut this one down. Not sure if they're going to be able to do it. Malta's gone down very early on. Spam through the smoke.
He's able to fight it out still. Oh my goodness, does he still have a bullet? Oh my goodness, the final bullet. Inns, we were talking about how he needs to be the difference maker, and he's making it work so far, but the bomb's lost out in the open. Inns going in for potentially the ace. And Splits has 3 more CTs to find if he's able to try to complete the clutch.
Perhaps is quick on the flank there. Inns just picking up that AWP as he's low in health.
I think Hatch should be able to pick Blitz off as well.
Yep. And now Renegades, some of these defenses are actually working a lot better over towards that B bomb site last round, shutting things down. This time around, it's a big play from Inns. AVANT, that was actually going reasonably well for them, as it got a lot of space there and actually caught Malta off guard and got that early man advantage. And end of the day, I mean, it's a little lackluster to not see AVANT actually be able to trade out Inns. Can't be allowing these players to get 3 frags and multi like that.
And Dexter, oh, he's caught a no man's land, trying to pull out a nade at the wrong time. Inns, once again, the danger man in the right position. Smokes are going to go down, but he looks like he's going to push straight forward. No fear whatsoever, as finally, once again, the B site is going to be held successfully. And Inns, once again, just the danger man right now. 7 kills in the last 2 rounds, at least putting a few on the board for Renegades to play with.
That's really shored up their economy. They've got a hell of a lot more money to be looking towards the tail end of this half. AVANT putting another buy together now. They've got everything that they need, but should they be losing a round, their money might be a little bit shaky. Quick smoke onto short, as well as a Molotov and some flashes. AVANT try to go for very, very quick short control this time around. Push Dexter off the line very quickly. Inns is actually getting aggressive up towards Catwalk there.
Great nade coming out.
Yeah, good pressure. But AVANT still do take that Catwalk control. Wondering what they're going to be doing with it, though.
Oh, perfection coming out right now from Renegades with the utility usage.
Yeah, one of the better teams, if not the best team, at using those HE nades. Every time on Inferno, just air striking people again. You've seen it there. Whole bunch of Molotov damage and some HEs, giving them the man advantage early on here. Dribble smoke into B, as well as 2 smokes onto the A site. It's going to drop into CT. What a shot there. And the push into Upper Dark actually gets Hat's a kill onto APOC as well. So things going very well for Renegades.
Oh, but it's starting to fall apart a little bit, as they can't really get the shots working at the moment. Sterling, unfortunately, picked off as Maltz is able to push forward, and that's the bomb actually lost as well. So Renegades will be able to close that one out from there.
And now you're looking at AVANT with 3K in the bank across a couple of their players. It's not really ideal to have in round number 15 where you're forced to go for a bite. Really going to limit what kind of utility you're going to be able to put on the board. They're going to have to go down to a few Galils, Mac 10, Deagle. So what was an 8-1 scoreline has really started to turn around for Renegades. They've gotten a handful of rounds in the last couple. Really starting to get themselves rolling, which is worrying for AVANT moving into the next half. Might argue that they might not have gotten enough out of this half if they want to actually upset on this map in particular.
They have a good start losing the first pick there as well. Even though they're taking the short control once again, just greeted from a perfect HE grenade from Inns. They're trying to pick up the pace right now for short. Inns going to be on the receiving end alongside with Sicko, and it looks like so far they're holding on pretty well. The Glil gets the dink, but it's not enough. Blitz trying to apply pressure over it long at the moment, but it might just come a little bit too little too late, as Sicko's going to close out that half. At least 6 rounds for Renegades to work with. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back with the second one.
We're near the end, baby. No matter what we do, it keeps ticking away, ticking away. You are my summertime love in the faraway place. With your loving soul and that beautiful face. No one can know about the days I spent in your embrace. You're no good for me, it's what they're all gonna say. You are my summertime love. When we go back, no one will know how we were. You are my summertime love. Out on the beach watching the stars up above. You gave my summertime love. Before you, I just didn't know what love was. You gave my summertime love. You gave me summertime love. You gave me summertime love. You gave me summertime love. Before you, I just didn't know what love was. You gave me summertime love. Before you, I just didn't know what love was. You gave me summertime love. A secret rendezvous stains my weak heart, baby.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I will be the super sub. I don't sound nor look like Karath, but I'm going to do my best damn job. He will be back in just a moment. But for now, it is the second half pistol. AVANT still leading the charge 9-6 as Renegades have made their way out. Bedroom, APOC, first line of defense here.
He's managed to get himself the initial kill, and they are kind of shutting down this T push out of long despite the supportive flashes from Malta. AVANT's gotten everything they wanted to get out of that one. APOC will actually be left alone towards long there, maybe punished for pushing a little further. Has spotted out Dexter. So far, so good for AVANT, who, as far as I'm concerned, going up 8-1 and then allowing a couple of rounds towards the end of the half to go back towards the Renegades side might have given them more room to work with than they should have.
But as you can see as well, you know, getting that pistol leading to a few more rounds does let this lead happen. If AVANT rather can do it again, they may just send it over to 11 or 12 here, but we'll see what Renegades do. We won't write them off just yet. We know that they do have the aim to back it up and the utility to get them up short here. Flashes over the top. Sterling unable to Dodge it initially, drop down into CT as the push comes through. Sterling still looking for anything here, but it is going to be the Renegades evening the odds. Back to the 3v3 we've gone, and APOC just on 7 HP at long. It's looking like he won't be able to do too much defending here.
Trying to poke and prod, see if he can find a head of one of these Ts before the retake inevitably does come in. But Haz is doing a great job coming up short. Just as you do praise him, though, all of a sudden, Renegades 3 kills come out and the pistol goes their way. So turning around a 3-on-5 disadvantage. Again, it's another situation where AVANT, they're in a good position. They've set themselves up for success, but they've let it slip away from them.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy round, but again, you can see you can never write off the Renegades. So they've won this second pistol and may just be able to close this round gap quick, smart. With shots like that, you will expect it. And now with the pick at mid, we are seeing a faster approach from Renegades. 3 and upper dark with the bomb. Smoke slowing them down for the moment. Sicko still going toe-to-toe with Blitz here. It's a tag going both ways. And Hazza hoping to find anything on the other side of this smoke. He's laying in wait, but as the fade will come through, Hat seemingly at the ready, but Hazza gets it done, only able to find himself a single. Blitz down to 7 HP now, as almost finding the collateral. It's Inst to double it down himself, and now it's off new last alive in a 1v4. Boom, not for long.
A lot of damage, but no real kills except for on Hats there. So Renegades, a very, very solid anti-force round from them. In an excellent position going forward to close out this anti-eco, even up the round gap and build themselves a decent little lead on that T-side economy.
Nice couple of shots there to crack open the B site from Ints. And now AVANT, they will be back on the pistols. Not going for the force buy here. Looking just to buy up into that 19th round. Good position, so they've gone for the boost from Sterling up onto the corner of Cat. Hoping to catch the T's off guard, but it looks like it's going to be off new. It will be first man found, that nade stack as well. Perfect. To open up the car position, Dexter. There's another entry up short. This is looking good for the Renegades. Solid anti-eco already. There is still a chance of an upset, but it looks like maybe damage is the best that AVANT's going to get. 2-tap onto Inst there as he tried to fight on the edge of the smoke. Sicko still playing down below. Dexter on the flank, fully clearing CT. And APOC will be dealt with over towards long as well. So we are back at a tied game just like that. 9-9 as AVANT go into their first gun round.
Straight into the double AWP as well. Secondary on Blitz is exactly what you want to be seeing. Both teams really favouring the double AWP setup on Dust 2. Can't blame them. It's pretty popular nowadays. Dexter going to hold on to that Mac 10 heading into this gun round.
Alrighty. Bit of a bonus.
For one player. He's just throwing utility. Supportive flashbang for Sicko over towards long. Smoke onto Xbox, and then joining up the rest of the boys in towards B tunnels.
Xbox smoke has missed, it looks like, there on the map.
Oh well, they're not using it anyway.
No. And it's Blitz now with the AWP, close range, finds a first, is able just to back out at the perfect moment.
It's a good start for AVANT. Obviously, fair few players over to this side of the map anyway. They were sort of leaning heavily towards that B play, or that mid to B play, with Offnu up on the windows sill very early on there. But after that initial pick and the defensive utility thrown out by AVANT, Renegades are back in a comfortable position.
Well, someone else is back as well, and it looks like that will be the big man, Kevin Karath-Zoo. He's just getting his headset on as APOC is looking to get his game on here, but cleared out. 2-tap for him. Looking for some more as well. Sicko around the corner. Ints holding the cross, and he is not going to be able to get away from the fire and the flames. It's now going to be Sterling, who misses his shot, will fall back.
Just sitting at the car, lining up all the shots. Picking up a different angle. From start to finish, AVANT looking pretty comfortable in a round like this. Flash flying out, often he's going to clean it up with 4 players surviving a very convincing round on that first CT gun round. But Renegades have the economy to be able to recover from that, put another buy together.
It is goodbye, but not farewell.
Bye, Mac.
Goodbye, Geordie. So, what did he say about me being gone?
He just said you're an outstanding human being.
Excellent.
He just couldn't stop talking about how much he missed you.
Oh, Sicko's not missing off now either. So there you have it, straight through the smoke, gets the timing shot across, and they barely take any damage. But look at APOC, managing to flit his way through the edge of the defense. But with the A4, he gets the double down. Oh my goodness. Also controls the spray to pick up the third, trying to come out of bedroom.
No hit. Head armor on Sicko there. He only had 3k at the start of the round, so had to skimp on that. Now, Hazard slowed down a bit from his rampage on the earlier start of the T side. Only goes 1 for 1 towards middle, but good enough when you're up with a man advantage on the Avant side. Hin's going to put this bomb down and see if he can set himself up in a position to complete this 1-on-2. Jumps across the doors, spots out no players towards CT, and is going to make his way towards tunnel. You're looking at the utility on someone like Sterling, though. If he does place those over towards that tunnel area, could block Inns off, but it doesn't look like Inns is interested in fighting this one from tunnel side. He is going to go for the big flank around, but you're looking at these two kits on Avant. If they stick this round's over.
Yeah, the question is where the smoke's going to be dropped on the bomb. Sterling is going to be tapping and sticking it. As they clear out tunnels, they know he can only be in one location. So Inns tries to go for the big play. It's not going to work out, and he's just going to allow Avant to take that round from there.
So what's the approach going to be for Renegades here? Because they don't really have money to buy on most of their players. Are they just going to save around that one singular AK? Like that will be the case. Couple of upgraded pistols and grenades being purchased. Very close for Sicko there. Does manage to get away with his life though. And Avant, it's you know, not super convincing on this CT side, but I'd say good enough so far. Really, it's going to come down to a round like this and how clean the anti-eco is with a hero AK on Inns and a couple of upgraded Deagles. How cleanly they close out this round will sort of tell a tale of how much room they have to work with on this CT side. How many mistakes can they potentially make before Renegades can punish them economically and even up this round disadvantage.
Well, they're happy to let time tick away for now, though.
Setting up this short execute. Actually, Dexter, he wants to go for the bomb plant towards B. Pretty interesting. Flashes go high, and Malta's going to drop down and start flanking that A-ramp position.
That often has dealt with it, though, and Sterling's able to at least chip in with a crossfire, but look at Blitz. He's been pushed off that B bomb site. Hazard's at the very least able to dispatch of Sicko, but Dexter will be able to get the bomb plant. That was the goal. That was a dream for Renegades. So even though Blitz is able to get that kill, Renegades gets the bomb plant, which means extra cash for them to work with. They've got a 3-round loss bonus that's starting to build up for them.
Yep, plus that bomb plant money. Money's looking great on Renegades, but you have to say, you're looking at the cash on Avant. Only lost that singular player over there towards A. That's going to give them a little bit more room to work with. Potentially enough money in the bank to be able to put together another buy if they're going to lose. So this game's still pretty tight.
It's all down to the clutch plays at the moment, I feel like, as Renegades looking to take a bit of control early on.
Maybe that's why the Xbox smoke might have missed. Early Molotov being thrown out by Blitz.
Zero attention being given over at B. Comes over now, but leaving B side open so early. That's a big risk to play.
Just playing full retake. And, I mean, it's an interesting approach. In my experience, retaking the B bomb site on Dust 2, I don't have happy memories. But might be a little bit easier for a coordinated team.
And Avant, once again, it's just always this shifting. They take this long control, they give it up. No one watching long whatsoever. They've actually shifted their members straight back into CT spawn. Hazard's going to be boosted up on that box. We do see Molotovs go there sometimes, though, so it's not a case of it's the strongest position anymore. And APOC's going to retake long control as well. So, yes, Renegades have short, but Sterling's got the AWP in play here. He has a lot of utility to work with still. You can see, drops his incendiary grenade as the progression smoke comes out.
That's going to give time for APOC to actually reposition over towards Goose side. Oh, he's actually going to play right up behind the smoke. This could be big for Avant.
It all comes down to the players at the moment. APOC, oh, he lines up 2 through the smoke, and Hazard is also able to pick off Malta trying to drop through. Dexter's just going, nope, I am not touching that. as Jordy would say, with a 10-foot pole as APOC. Such a critical playmaker in these last couple of rounds for AVANT.
5 alive, Kevin. Oh, that is a hell of a lot of money on AVANT. And now they're looking towards an anti-eco round. Massive. They're in a great position to close out Dust 2 here. Haven't quite done it yet. Don't want to be losing too many guns to these scouts and the Deagles either.
Oh, the double
peek into Insta-Scout. Feels bad, man.
Oh, Sterling gets off the angle just as Dexter crosses over the top mid.
Interesting moves from Malta. You see the double peek from the AWPs into mid doors. What do? You pick up the scout and you go, I'm going to beef him. I'm going to get in there.
Renegades once again defaulting to a very slow approach in the mid-round. Not really trying to make any noise anywhere, but they have so many AWPs trained in these critical angles. Has to be a hell of a shot coming out from Sicko as Sterling unscopes nearly at the wrong time. Still able to hold on though. But they're just peeking individually at the moment. And for Sterling, when you peek individually into him, it's just a shooting gallery. Missing a few. Finally punished for missing one too many. But only losing a single gun, which is a rifle at the end of the day. It's not going to be too costly for AVANT.
Time out for Renegades. Backs against the wall here. If they lose a round like this, they would be, you know, not broke. Especially if they get a bomb plant down, they could still probably put AK and armor together, but the utility will be very limited in a round like that should they lose this one. As for AVANT, a clean couple of rounds in the last round. 5 alive in the gun round, only losing 1 gun in both of those anti-ecos. It's looking fantastic. They should have a fair bit of money to fall back on, as well as this deficit that Renegades are at gives them the room in terms of building up that loss bonus to be able to recover from losing a couple of rounds and being punished economically. So I'd say AVANT, they're in a fantastic position, about as good as it gets to close out Dust 2 here. It's going to take something special for Renegades.
And it's just, once again, you're going back to the 2 rounds on the CT side. APOC with those multi-frags with the rifle, absolutely critical. The AVANT individuals are stepping up when it counts, and Renegades have not been so far. Really lackluster on some of their players, and maybe that's the difference which will allow AVANT to seal the deal right now on map number 1. Out comes the Molotov to try to push Sterling off this angle, but you can see he's still looking to challenge it. Relatively healthy, but they've given up long control.
Well, again, like you said, they're staying very active. This time, Renegades, they're starting to recognize it. APOC is going to reposition towards this side of the map, towards short, but it's this long control from Renegades. Very hard to hold this A-bomb site when the Ts have both short and long. Very low percentage. So it's going to take something special from APOC and Sterling to actually be able to maybe defend this. Ideally, they probably want to fight one of these angles, maybe commit to fighting short and trying to clear it out and retake that off of the Ts, and that's exactly what APOC's going to do, but he's gone a little bit too preemptively. Faced into the flash, maybe expecting it to land behind him, and he just goes down for free. You definitely can't blame him for going for a play like that, though. He's completely surrounded. Renegades now closing in on Sterling.
If Sterling manages to hold this, it'll be a hell of a play, and there's the first opening shot, but finally the short reinforcements come in from Renegades. And Offner, he's charging up, has spotted out the head of Malta, but so difficult to try to land these A4 shots. Both sides missing and whiffing. The bomb will be able to be carted over. Bomb plant goes down. And it looks like AVANT just have to pull out here. Not much you can really do on a 2-on-4 at this stage.
That's the perfect adaptation from Renegades, really. They recognize how much AVANT is moving around on that A-bomb site, taking and leaving long, not properly holding these areas of the map, so they go and take them in the late round, take short and long control. It is fairly easy to pinch that A-bomb site. It's pretty much only a matter of time once you've established those positions, especially if the CTs are not staying active towards tunnel. They're not pushing through mid doors and applying pressure in other parts of the map. And that's an excellent A-site pinch from Renegades.
I think AVANT were just a little bit too wary at that stage. You saw that Blitz actually took upper dark control with the AWP, but 2 members in AVANT were actually sitting at mid. They were very convinced that Renegades would actually fall back into a mid-take instead. Doesn't work out in this instance, and the A-bomb site's lost.
Yeah, look, it's this exact kind of play which makes it so weak to sort of play this style that AVANT's playing over towards the A side of the map. You definitely have to hold long or short on the CT side of Dust 2. You have to commit to something. You cannot play it from just that A-bomb site. The only reason it worked out previously for AVANT, like you said, was big playmaking from APOC and just picking the right timing to push certain parts of the map. But that's not something you can really do with consistency most of the time. This time around, though, you do see AVANT going back to a more sort of standard approach. APOC holding that long control after they've established it. Sterling on the line towards short, seeing if he can pick anybody trying to take that control. So much more no-nonsense kind of approach from AVANT this time around, now floating Offnu over towards this side of the mid.
Oh,
that's a beautiful shot.
Beautiful stuff from Offnu.
May as well have had an AWP there. Unbelievable.
Laser beam of a shot, but still. Short control gathered by Renegades. 1-0 lurking over to the B bomb site. That's going to be Hats. Doesn't have much in terms of smoke. Can't really progression smoke out there, so it's really just down to how well Renegades can take short at the moment. And it's a pretty one-dimensional attack. You can already see Offnu covering the CT spawn area.
Yeah, AVANT doesn't need to do anything special here, especially with that man advantage that Offnu got with that incredible shot on In's top mid. All they need to do is just try to pick Renegades as they cross to the site. Don't need to try and hold it. Just need to try and do damage and wait for that retake, but it doesn't even look like AVANT's interested in that. You can see just continual frags coming out, trying to stop Renegades, maybe getting a little bit too greedy in a 5-on-3 is starting to punish them. Dexter's found 2 frags. Hat's now charging out middle.
And he's been hurt as well. Blitz trying to get ever so closer to equalize the numbers. It's all down to Dexter at this stage. He's already found 2 on the A-bomb site. He's got that bomb plant down as well. Has a little bit of utility and time to play with, but 2 Molotov for the CTs to work with as well. Both gathering up through short. So now they're starting to make a little bit of noise, but this is such a difficult angle for both sides to be fighting. Out comes the Molotov onto site. 20 seconds left on the timer as well as Dexter. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful coming out from the IGL of Renegades. 2 one-taps and 2 heads just going missing for AVANT.
Oh my
That's
god.
dirty. When was the last time you saw something as clean as that? Offnu did it once, and then Dexter's gone, watch this, boys. We can do it. I can do it twice.
Do it better. I mean, I put a fair bit of effort into cleaning my apartment earlier, but I can't say that I did as good a job as that.
That's
definitely Mr. Clean.
That's definitely a round that Renegades needed to pick up, though. Individually, Dexter might have bought them enough time to try to get back into this.
Oh, man. That really got me going. Kind of woke me up. It's a bit of a slow day at the office.
How can you call this slow, Mitch? This is where it's really starting to heat up at the moment. 14-11. AVANT's economy, I don't think it's that great at this stage. You can see that down to the pistols. Yes, they have the AWP on Blitz.
Yeah, they're just going to take things slow here. They have a bit of a deficit to play with. They're building up that loss bonus. They already had the economy. No use trying to force a bad buy when you've got this many rounds to play with.
And this is just another tale of if APOC didn't get those 2 rounds, those critical multi-frag rounds, or if Hazard didn't get those earlier T-side rounds, Renegades would actually be in the lead at the moment. That's a scary thing to be thinking about. Look, it's not over, done and dusted just yet. Still have pistols in play on the B bomb site. Have that crossfire working for them. Out comes Renegades right now as Offnu's able to at least chip away 1. Oh no, the pistols! They managed to make it work on the pistols. It's all down to Sicko though. He whips out the sidearm, but Sterling picks up the AWP. As soon as I say that, of course it's the pistols that bring up map point for AVANT.
You literally saw it yesterday as well. Renegades did that exact same thing to Chiefs. And we've seen so many teams just contact into the B bomb site, a couple of flashes through the newly opened skybox in towards tunnels.
But it doesn't flash close.
It doesn't flash close. And try to go into that B bomb site anti-eco. And so many teams have been punished for that. Renegades has literally punished other teams for doing that. Regardless though, it's a fight towards long. They're really trying to brawl for this control. And Inz has somehow spun around and found himself 3 kills.
He's continuing the charge forward as well. Has a corner no man's land. Inz just pushes the pedal to the metal. And Blitz just has to save right now.
Both smokes on the cross. Gonna plant for Plat. I mean, he does have a kit, but an AWP and a 1 and 3. Better just play the high percentages. Hold on to that ult for the future. In's really digging deep, single-handedly winning that round, just charging out long. Gets himself a 3k, picks up the AWP. picks the player on the rotation. It's like something you would see in a Face-It pug or something like that, ESCA pug, you know? Just someone charging out and cleaning up the rest of the other team.
Yeah, but that's exactly what Renegades needed, so it doesn't matter how you get it done, right? At this stage, as long as you just try to fight to stay alive in this map. 3 rounds of difference. Renegades have to try to bring it back, but Avant, their money isn't great. That's the issue.
Yeah, they have afforded themselves this room to work with, though. They can afford to take these ecos with the Galil as well.
He's able to.
He doesn't even know where he is. He's trying to make it. He's just basically making it up as he goes along.
Well, free flow sometimes is the best way to be going about Counter-Strike, not just used for wrapping, as Avant actually take a tactical timeout.
What do you reckon, Ins? Who would be the best rapper in this server? I'm going to go for Hazza.
I'd say none of them, to be honest.
None of them?
Yeah, none of them. I don't vision any of them as rappers at this stage.
Yeah.
3 rounds of difference at this stage. Avant have at least an AWP saved over, and I think they've actually decided to buy up on all these guys that actually have cash. Double AWP in play for Avant. They decided to go for the double eco if things go awry here. Out comes that long flash this time around. Sicko looking to post on the corner, but the flashbangs come forward to just force both sides backing off. It's just flashbang after flashbang
It really
right
is.
now.
It's just trading flashes.
But Avant take control of the critical long area.
That's it. They got that control, but it took everything. They don't have any grenades left. They've invested all of their grenades in holding off that long aggression. Offnu soloing B with a deal. This is a very, very risky round for Avant, investing both of their AWPs towards this A side of the map. Essentially, this approach is basically just, if you go B, cool, you can have the round. We'll just save these AWPs going forward. But if you come towards A, you know, we don't really have the utility to play into the late round. You've got to take a bit of a risk.
Oh, this is a huge risk right now coming out from Sterling, and Sicko.
He did not even on his screen.
Finds the shoulder. Perfect peek coming out from Sicko. Doesn't even need a flicko for that.
Just slides out. All he saw was like the tip of his elbow and you're just dead. It's not fair.
Out comes the A execute at the moment, but Blitz on the angle, misses the first shot. Difficult shot for him to find. Has a dancing around the Molotov. Sicko misses a shot. It's actually Ins recovering the situation, but this is very perilous at this stage. Once again, it's just Sicko just slowly walking in. Gets the pick. 3v2.
Sliding onto those angles. APOC trying to flank in with the FAMAS from long into Sicko's AWP. Don't think it's going to be going too fantastically for him. Offnu trying to thread the needle between a couple of different Ts. I don't think he's picked that timing correctly. I don't know. He spun around and killed Hats somehow, though.
Yeah, and also the dink going down onto Sicko at that range puts him down to 2 HP. And you wonder at that situation, if he had an M4, that would be a kill for sure. FAMAS, absolutely atrocious at that distance. And Offnu can't get any more exits from there. Sicko very wary of what's going on. 4 kills from him. Critical 4 kills as well, as he's able to pick off both of his counterparts.
Some of these individuals really stepping up for Renegades.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous. Very, very much ready for that off angle. You can tell that's something he's seen before. Out-AWPing both Sterling and Blitz in that one round. And that's all Avant really had going for them, is just the AWPs.
Yeah,
so Sicko single-handedly just
Oh,
crushed
no.
Avant in that round. Now he's completing this anti-eco. And that's only really going to be one round left for Avant to close this one out before we start the slippery slope that is overtime.
I feel like if overtime happens, Renegades, that's their map to really drop now. They look like they're in form at this stage, but all Avant need to do is sneak one away and they'll take map number 1. Still, it's too tight to tell how it's going to be going. Only pistols and USBs in this round means that it's very difficult for Avant to probably take a surprise off Renegades. But that said, Avant have complete map control over at mid. They know that Renegades are at long, but knowing is one thing. Hitting his shots, completely different story.
I'm keen to see what Avant's going to be doing in this next gun round. They have been playing pretty interestingly. kind of gimmicky, a little bit risky from time to time.
Sterling is able to pick off one, but unfortunately a few kills here and there is not able to make the difference for AVANT.
Yeah, money's not great to go for some AWPs here, Kev. It's going to have to be 5 rifle, actually.
Or do you still give an AWP over into the hands of Sterling?
It would probably be Blitz. If anyone's going to buy one, it would be Glass Cannon.
But Hazard can afford one as well. But
No,
you're lacking on
he's
armor.
not going to buy one and get no armor. It's not happening.
Have to find out. Tactical timeout. Final round of regulation at this stage. It looks like it is going to be maybe the single AWP having a chat about it at this moment.
Not sure why Hazard's buying head armor in a round like this. You're well aware that the other team is just going fully for those rifles. They've had plenty of rounds to build up the money.
You say that at the moment. Watch as Hazard survives a dink through the edge of the box or through the edge of a door, and he's left on 2 HP and wins the round. And you go, that $350 investment, it's a big money winner.
Maybe. I think
You
I
never
would have
know.
preferred to see him get an HE nade or something like that. Either way, is what it is.
Long fight.
Yep.
Out comes the AWP. Malta's actually got the AWP. Oh my goodness. Great shot coming out from Malta. Great impact as well. 5 on 4 now. And Renegades get the first pick and slide out. Barely taking any utility damage.
Just pump the brakes, holding all the angles. Hats is just waiting for someone to push upper. They're holding that long doors. Renegades is waiting for the one of these players on AVANT to get a little bit antsy in this 4 on 5. I like this approach from AVANT though, leaning heavily over towards this B side of the map. It's a good approach. Try to deal with this mid to B if it does come out. Could be a good way to do it.
Big gamble stack though. If it doesn't work out, hey, bomb site's pretty vulnerable. APOC has a hell of an effort to do. Silenced M4 at close range from the CT box. Gonna be so difficult to get the double dinks down or the headshots.
Yeah, it would take a bit of a misplay, I think, for Renegades to be losing a round like this.
APOC just looking to see if anyone drops down for now, but looks like he is able to stay alive. Bomb plant's going to go down as well for sure. APOC thinking about maybe challenging someone at this stage. As the smokes dissipate, rest of the boys for AVANT going to be rotating over through CT spawn all in unison. And there's a first shot. Great flick coming out from APOC. But utility now going to be dropped from the T's as now they're charging straight into a crossfire and Inns. Of course, it's Inns getting all the kills right now. A triple down for him and Blitz tag so low. They know where he is as well. It might be Inns just closing things up right now, and it is going to be overtime as Renegades are able to find the answer. And this, I feel like, Dust 2 has slipped away from AVANT's control now.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the fact that that's a 15-15. I look at the first half and they're up 8-1. I look at that 5-on-3 situation where they were in on the pistol of this half, or the half that was just over. Missed opportunity for AVANT. I feel like now that we're into overtime, it might get a little bit more difficult. The difference is, though, that AVANT's not going to have to worry about some of the economic issues they were running into on that CT side this time around.
Yeah.
We'll get access to those double AWPs.
16k.
It might be a little bit of a different look for Renegades, who have been playing quite a slow style.
You can already see Inns just being a bit of a nuisance over here at the bedroom smoke. He was waiting for an opportunity. He's actually tanked a lot of damage, though, trying to exit bedroom. So overall, pretty favorable for APOC. He's able to hold on to bedroom and do a lot of damage over to his counterpart.
Yep.
AVANT going to be holding short from the car position instead.
Yeah, just retaking that A-bomb site. Nothing crazy. Sterling again is going to actually play over towards this A site rather than playing the crossover. Dropping the Molotov. He's been really hitting the timing of that very, very well. Forces that smoke out of Renegades. And Ofnu's going to play similar to APOC, very, very far up in front of this push.
But Sterling's in the right angle at the moment. Perfect angle coming out. But Malta, time for him to step up, and he will step up indeed. As now he's able to find the critical entries and force it into a 2-on-3 for AVANT. But Both members from Avant very healthy, have that Molotov to play with, Incendiary Grenade in play. Hazard needs to find some of that magic from earlier on.
Yeah, see if he can Molotov out the site. He's going to throw the progression smoke up there. Might give a bit of a one-way over to Blitz. Molly on top of Malta, who is very low, will flush him out of position.
But he gets out alive for now, barely takes any damage, and Sicko, of course, it's going to be Sicko getting a couple of flicks, but now down to the one-on-one, but the Molotov's in the perfect position. Inns just drops that grenade at the right time, and Hazard's going to burn. Absolutely nothing he can do, doesn't have the smoke grenade, and Inns just big brains it to bring up round number 1 in overtime for Renegades.
These are the critical kills, though. Malta clearing out that site. If he gets traded down there, it's a completely different round. Ofnu as well, not quite finding the right timing, pushing up in front of that execute. Maybe if he does just play it a little bit more passively towards Goose or something like that, might have worked out better for Avant. Who knows?
It's a case of, well, you can't really play that round back. So now you just have to worry about this one.
Yeah, you might see it played back in OT. Might have an opportunity to make a different decision next time around. This one, though, it doesn't look like a short execute to me. So it will be Blitz who's tested this time around.
But this is a very one-dimensional attack coming out from Renegades at this stage. No one really lurking towards mid except for Dexter.
Haven't put any pressure on Catwalk or Long either. You actually do see Ofnu playing towards Goose this time around, interestingly enough.
Blitz spots out Inns and gets a great flick down, and Blitz from this angle is able just to lock it down. Absolutely nothing that you can do from Renegades. Dexter's going to go down as well.
This makes it look so easy. Point and click adventures with the AWP, just popping up and down.
Critical flick onto Inns though. If he doesn't get that, you give Inns everything to hit that shot. It's all down to Hats at the moment, but he's going to walk straight into the rifle of APOC. So at least Avant's able to bring one back, but Renegade's not really exploring the rest of the map.
Yeah.
Not even using a progression smoke, just trying to find the timing. That's never going to work.
It does work from time to time. The thing is that it has got them in a little bit of trouble on this T side, hasn't it? Against the pistols, and now it gets that AWP in overtime. Maybe not the right approach for this game. Hell of a lot of AWPs and DAC being purchased up by Renegades, trying to get some picks on the cross. Doesn't get them any damage though. Just spending that extra cash as it is the last round of overtime.
Yeah, I mean, Sicko takes damage, and I think that's probably from a friendly fire, not
maybe
from anything else.
Yeah, might have been. You're right. That is going to get him one beat by the A4s, or the A1S. Either way, though, Renegades taking this short control are going to go back to what looks like what worked for them before, which is this late long take into this A site pinch.
And now APOC's going to be tested one more time. And it's all just, once again, down to how well Renegades can trade out, or how well APOC can get that spray down with the Silence Stem 4. Out comes Inns. The head now spotted. Sterling going to be devoting his attention. Drops a flashbang as well, but Inns not going to be blinded by that. Plays a blue bin to perfection. Out comes the crunch right now from the rest of the T's coming up from short. They drop some utility. They're smoked off themselves.
Yeah, as soon as they lose that player towards long, it becomes so much harder to defend this A-site pinch.
You see Malta just trying to dance around, trying to find the timing as the rest of the boys going to be proceeding up long. Shot's going to come out from Sterling, but Ofnu holding in from Goose. Renegades are not coming in together at this stage. They're so scared of Sterling, and this is why they're scared, as Sterling's still alive on the bomb side, and they line up. He gets the collateral. It's all down to Inns at the moment, who's trying to shift walked up, and Sterling gets the no-scope to close out that half. Absolutely ridiculous hold, and that is why they are so scared.
Oh, man. Very, very hard to be able to hold down those multiple angles. You got T's charging at you from short and long, and he's managed to hold his nerve there, not over peaking. If he wide, it's very, very easy to just slide out on that angle and try to find those additional frags because you're under a little bit of pressure. You're trying to fight your way out of that situation. If he peaks even a centimeter more to the right, he definitely gets killed by Sicko there. So he's literally played that to perfection.
And look, they've already got one in pit as well, so straight into Avant's T-side half of overtime. Sicko's in a bit of a poor position.
They've got that long control. Even in OT, when the CTs have all the access to the utility and the double AWPs. That's not ideal, though.
He doesn't have a smoke, so he's really relying on Malta to bail him out. And you can see Malta's actually got the smoke ready for him, so he's just going, yep, let me know when you get mollied. I'll just drop it on. Oh, no.
No, that's not.
That is not ideal. Oh, dear.
That's not it. They actually invested 2 of smokes to put out that Molotov. The player from Short Inns actually threw his as well, so that's a hell of a lot of utility invested, and Sicko still hasn't made it out of car.
All I'm saying is, if Jordan was here, if Elfish Guy was here, Malta would be hearing it right now.
Yeah, true.
It's just not cricket, missing a smoke like that. And Sicko's eventually going to go down.
Yep,
It was
took a
just
while.
too low. Ian's actually pushing forward, but he hasn't checked the double doors. Blitz lurking here.
Yeah, Blitz has definitely seen him.
Oh, beautiful one tap coming out.
Does get traded out by Hatsto, and that's going to be control of the middle of the map in favor of Renegades as Avant do take this A-site control. There you go, Dexter punishing Sterling for slipping out on that line. Now it is all on APOC and Hazza to hold down tight on this bomb site with the AKs.
They've been very solid so far, so probably the 2 people that you want to be holding on, trying to make the 2-on-3 work at this stage. Not much utility for them to work as Malta coming out from long, gets the shot across, all down to Hazard at this stage, but he can't dance between multiple angles, unfortunately. So Renegades will be able to take that retake relatively successfully. 17-7, once again, tied up a piece. 19 is the magic number to take the victory, but one more means at the very least we might be seeing a double overtime.
Yeah, whoever takes the next round sort of puts their opponents under the pump. Do threaten the end of the game with that match point. See what Avant's going to be going for. Been taking long control pretty consistently, and it looks like they're going to go for it once again. Bit of a brawl towards long. Malta throwing down that utility and continuing to fight forward.
Oh, but he wins that fight as well, so even though the rest of Avant looking to challenge,
got a lot better.
Yep. Renegades get one, they slide out, and you can see Sicko looking to take that short control right now. So they lose one part, they try to re-engage in Avant. They don't have anyone over at mid so far, so they're going to look to go back and try to get some map control right now.
Yeah, it's a 2-man setup. You got Sicko and Inns over there towards Catwalk. They've fully given up long. Malta's leaning back towards CT spawn. This is exactly what you'd want to see from Renegades, punishing Avant for trying to get that map control towards long, falling away as soon as they have that man advantage, and just repositioning Avant now, slowing down in this 4-on-5, trying to take some map control. A handful of Molotovs to be able to flush out these positions.
Oh, they're just going to go straight in and challenge it, and Sicko is going to do a bit of a Sterling.
How many collapsed today? How many?
It's absolutely beautiful. As APOC, oh my goodness, just gets turned on by Malta. Renegades starting to hit their shots now, and it's all down to Sterling, who can't do anything at all.
He just can't. He just can't. That's match point for Renegades. One more to put him over the top. Ah, man. Avant. So many opportunities in this map so far, and they've played very, very well. So you have to say that. But unfortunately, playing well is not always good enough against Renegades, even when they're looking a little bit mortal on a night like tonight. If you can't put them away, they very much will come and steal the game out from under you. Especially when Inns is on 35.
Yep,
really
Inns
digging deep. Him and Sicko have... Dexter's had a couple of good plays as well, but him and Sicko have really, like, a couple of rounds just gone, all right, I'm just going to kill the whole team now.
Yeah, I mean, especially Inns, you can just remember him just charging up, just getting multiple entries on the
He
T
made
side.
He made the Galil
looking
look like a viable weapon, Kevin.
Hey, you tell me, man. You're telling me that. Dex has been legged though on the cross, so at least that's a positive start for Avant. They've done some early damage. But hang on, how is Sicko over in lower dark already? Do they suspect that he's here? He's fired off a shot, I think. And he's kind of caught in no man's land at this stage.
One beat by APOC. Very nice. Wide peak though. Straight across. Gets him taken out. It is only a 1-for-1. And Ofnu's actually going to punish the push on Hats. This is just a hyper-aggressive round. Renegades trying to, I think, go for the throat, apply pressure, and hope that Avant will crumble. But so far, they've been responding reasonably well. Inns through the side of the smoke. Does even up the man disadvantage as Avant look to go into B on towards Dexter.
Oh, and Dexter's already so low from that. doesn't matter if he's low. Often he finds the headshot immediately onto him, and it's going to be Inns looking to try to find the timing right now.
Malta's got a flash for him.
There
Throws
comes the
it out.
flashbang. Oh, he's going to come forward, but it can't convert the spray. And they know where the last CT is. I think we're going to double overtime unless Malta can pull out some magic from Malta. No, he absolutely cannot.
Nice job from AVANT. That was just a classic round out of Renegades. A lot of the time, whenever they have match point and they're putting their opponents under the pump, you'll see them start to play more aggressively rather than safe. A lot of teams, they play not to lose when the pressure's on and when they're able to get that last initial point. A lot of the time, you see Renegades go hyper-aggressive. I remember, like on Inferno, for example, Dexter just wide peeking top mid in OT multiple times when they're on match point, getting away with it. That was another example of that push into lower dark for the first time in a critical round like that, trying to get aggressive into upper. And it's easy to just not be ready for that, to just be so focused on the fact that you're very close to losing the game and crumble under that pressure, but AVANT's deflected that very well.
Malta's in a very dangerous position at the moment. I say it's dangerous because Blitz has a flashbang lined up. I think Offner might have spotted him going in, but Blitz... Oh, this is so risky. Where's the flashbang being lined up if they decide to go into bedroom? I've seen AVANT throw this flashbang as well. They're going to give it up.
Good position for Malta to be in. You can see AVANT's spidey senses are kind of tingling. Either way, though, Apoc's going to throw the dribble smoke and a flash out B, apply a little bit of pressure to those B defenders on Renegades, while the rest of AVANT get ready to take short.
What's the bet that Hazard gets the entry here? They're going to just use manpower to try to fight off Sicko. And Sicko...
Dry peek?
Dry peeking out, no using any flashbangs at all. Fast and furious right now. Sicko is going to be burning, but they do have control of the A bomb site at the very least, tanking some damage. Not much at all, to be honest, as they will be able to get the bomb plant down shortly. As often you can see, he's clearing these angles. He's brave. He's looking to fight it 4v4.
Renegades kind of in a tough position here. You can see Malta finally flanking out towards top middle. The Renegade's going to take that middle control. Apoc in a cheeky position here. Will be cleared, unfortunately.
Hazard, though, able at least to get the trade back, so it brings it back to a 3-on-3, and it's definitely doable for AVANT still. It's all down to how well Malta can get this timing down. And you can see he's been spotted out now. That he's trying to fight long distance against A4 or against AKs. It's all really down to Sicko, and Malta can't really get anything done there. AVANT, perfect hold coming out, means that they pick up the first round in double overtime.
Yep, just blistering pace, straight up short, applying a hell of a lot of pressure to Renegades, not giving them the space that they need. Even though Sicko connects on that first shot, they immediately just continue barreling straight up short onto that A bomb site. Like you said, good clearing of angles, good clearing of annoying positions so that they don't have to deal with them later.
Great start as well. Once again, Sterling is able to get that kill through the flashbang.
Yep, absolutely.
And there's rapid short control as well. This is looking good for AVANT.
Where was that kill? Was that
long?
Long, okay. I couldn't see it under Malta. On the number 0 there. Either way, a good start for AVANT.
Oh my goodness, look at Sicko. If he pushes forward just a little bit, gets the kill. Blitz looking to engage. Won't be able to find the timing this time, though.
Sicko, I'd imagine, is probably... I would have put money on him just going and repositioning on that off angle.
Look at Malta, though. He's pushed out through long.
Yep, he is behind him.
Oh, but he's trying to push in at this stage. He knows they're coming in through short. This is all down to the entries right now from both sides. And Sicko, once again, another flick. There is a drop down to the CT. You can see Dexter, though. He misses the shot. Blitz is able to get the kill, but nevertheless, it is a cleanup for Renegades this time around. So into the final round of double overtime, the first half of it.
Same execute again. Renegades are ready for it. Last round of the T side here. And a hell of a lot of AWPs trying to get some picks on the cross. This is kind of a problem with the 16k overtime. Blitz is just going to dive straight at mid. A hell of a lot of flashes pushing Dexter off that line.
But you can see he's already safe in, in that B site doors, so...
Inns almost loses his life there, trying to jump up onto the garbage bins. But do have control of short.
Sicko's actually been given the AK, as Malta, I think, had the best spawn for it, but they're going to trade weapons back now.
I really haven't seen many mid to Bs in this game so far. Seen a hell of a lot of short executes. A lot of contact plays, a lot of long control. Haven't seen many mid to Bs. Doesn't look like AVANT wants to go for that. They want to go for this A-site pinch.
Oh, no, they're going to check it. Yes, they will, but Malta at least gets one, spots the bomb as well. But with only 2 people on the bomb site, Sicko's got a big job to do, and he's going to start it off quite well as Hazard's unable to clear it. But Blitz, he's pushed out through mid at the right time, and the long pressure not coming out just yet. Sicko's going to drop down, surely heard by Sterling, as Blitz is still alive, still fighting. Huge round coming out from him, as now Sterling's going to chip in as well. All down to Hats, as this round goes very wrong for Renegades, as Blitz has been the key difference maker in this one.
Yeah, almost goes down through the door there. And Sterling now on this off angle. APOC ready to peek off of him, but not sure it'll be needed as he closes it out. That's a 2-1 lead on that T side for AVANT, alleviating a little bit of pressure. As Renegades slide over to the T side now.
We're definitely getting the series that we wanted, though. We were suspecting that maybe it's tight between both of these teams, and really it has been. AVANT have dug really deep, too.
These kind of series are good for the scene, I think. Similar to that Road to Rio series with Order. Just seeing that these top teams in Australia can push Renegades, it's a positive sign for the competition.
So, an attempt at long take from Renegades and AVANT, but it looks like AVANT are going to be the ones coming out on top of that. Just a very, very slow-paced round coming out from Renegades. No fast take towards short just yet.
Nothing happening.
Yeah.
Only now Renegades starting to get a bit of a move on. Up catwalk. Taking a little bit of map control. Looking like, again, grouping up into Heart, grouping up into Long.
Oh, look at that timing coming out from Inns, though, as he's just sitting inside the smoke right now.
This is exactly the same approach from Renegades that's worked for them many, many times. It's just going out long late and pinching this A site. I mean, I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's a very deliberate approach. This time it's not going as well for them. They're only now starting to trade these frags out, but it's at a disadvantage.
Yep, because the smoke from short, able to stop them. Offnu is able to hold on to that territory, and APOC sitting that off angle as well. So Offnu escapes alive, uses the flashbang, drops it well, and AVANT very close to closing out this round. It's all down to Sicko at the moment, who's looking to make anything work. He draws out the first shot from Sterling, but he's got rifles to play with. But no, Sicko still charging forward, has one on the lurk. I think he's wary of Blitz being there. And it is going to be Blitz with the USP that's going to clean up the sidearm better than the AWP. And now 2 match points, map points for AVANT to work with.
Yep. Still going towards that double AWP setup. That was a much better defense. You can see they actually started to adapt a little bit to defending that long and short A-site split.
Sicko just gets the pick onto Blitz before the smoke blooms.
And
that is the B-site vulnerable.
I mean, Renegades were already going for a very, very quick one down mid regardless, but that pick just... They want to speed things up even more, and there's no one left on this B side of the map. It is still trades towards middle. Renegades, they're not sure that this B side's actually open. And unfortunately, they might have missed their window, which means that this round is probably going to slow down into a 3-on-3. I would say, though, with no CT player that's sort of taken any territory in any other part of the map, and the fact that AVANT still really does feel like this might be a B-site play, it's kind of looking like it could be favoured towards Renegades.
I don't know, AVANT are pretty determined that it is the B bomb site at this stage.
Yeah, they're really not moving very much, are they? And it will be the play. There's still no control of this site for AVANT. It's going to be on them to try to pick some players on the cross.
It's all down to the utility usage at the moment, but Offnu goes in dry at this stage. Flashbang. Oh, no, Hazard's going to burn alive. It's all down to APOC at this moment. The utility's been dropped. He's been spotted out as well.
It's the second time Hazard's gone 100-0 in a molly this game. Unfortunate.
As APOC looking to try to challenge the bomb plant a bit. It's actually going to be Sicko, not only through a smoke, but through a door as well.
There's one of the match points, or map points rather, being chucked away. You always just see it on the screen, match point. It's map point though.
You can bring that up with Valve.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll listen to me because they listen to everyone else.
So final round of overtime number 2. Are we going to see triple overtime, or are AVANT going to be able to close it out? It's like, once again, utility being exchanged over at long, but it does force Hats off the angle. Once again, AVANT's utility is doing just a little bit too strong, and Malta does a lot of damage to Offnoob. This is going to force a lot of utility coming out from AVANT.
Yeah, pressure really being applied. Dexter's got a pick over towards car side.
Is he in CT?
Yes. Yes, he is. Cheeky boy.
Oh, this is going to stop the rotations as well. All the picks now working right now as Hazard's going to push through, but he can't land the shots. All down to Blitz. Just like that. Overtime number 3, most likely on the cards unless Blitz pulls off a heroic. That's the first shot that he needs to find. But his toes are going to be spotted if he persists through CT. As a matter of fact, his toes already have been spotted.
Stays alive though. Must be wearing those steel caps.
OHS, very important. Stage still gets the flick onto ins as well, but Sicko cleaning up that half. Overtime number 3.
Another missed opportunity for AVANT. Could have closed it out there. You really can't be pushing Renegades further in a game like this. But let's be real. It's really delivering. Both sides really delivering on their T side much more. So it's really going to be up to whoever has success on that CT side. I think AVANT have started to show some tendencies to start to adapt on that CT side, especially towards that A site defense. This time around, it's actually Renegades who successfully take that long control.
Yeah, Dexter is just trying to be a bit of a nuisance over at mid, but he has made his way up through short very early on. No, Blitz gets the better of him. Dexter, no lurking out of CT this time around. Missed up. Renegades only with long control at this stage.
That makes the play a lot more one-dimensional for Renegades. No one to cut those rotations in half. So it will just be Renegades trying to walk towards this A site. Cross smokes come out.
Good counter utility as well from the CTs as well to make it difficult. Of course, Sterling just posted high up, able to just get every single shot. Beautiful vintage Sterling coming out as Renegades. Doesn't work out for them. As soon as they lose that 5th player controlling the rotations, it just looks too flaky for them at the moment.
Yeah, losing Dexter was pretty critical. This slow approach against the double AWP setup, giving Renegades some difficulties, giving them some issues.
Tack timeout being called at the moment. Last one. I don't think AVANT have one left either.
Seen AVANT do many tacks. I think Renegades have been the main ones calling tacks.
It's the most frag Ins has had since he dropped 36 against Alpha Red. There you go. But then again, we are in overtime number 3, so...
Well... It's a good start for AVANT. I think the team that's really going to come away with this overtime is the team that has more success on this CT side. So already getting that first round, potentially getting yourself 2, would be very valuable for AVANT going forward.
Blitz going in for a challenge. Oh, he misses the shot.
I think seeing those players running down Death Alley at the same time kind of threw him off a little bit, or otherwise I'm sure he probably would have connected. Crosshair was dead on, and you saw that adjustment just at the last second. It just had a... had a bit of a brain moment, like I'm having. Either way, it is a one-man advantage for AVANT. Still showing their prowess on this CT side.
I mean, as soon as they lose a pick there, they're able to not only get one at short. I mean, Sterling's just absolutely on a tear at the moment. He does not want to lose overtime at this stage.
The Orps are just tearing Renegades apart.
Sterling, but he finally misses a shot, but Hazard's not in a mood to miss a shot.
Oh, man.
Once again, Sterling's just stepping up.
These rounds aren't close, Kevin. These last 2 rounds just weren't even close.
Yeah, I mean, finally something goes right for Renegades, and often he decides to push into upper dark and goes, hey, Hats, cute little lurk that you've got there over at B, but I've got upper's dark control at the moment. And you try to push up short, but you don't use anything but manpower. We've seen that how well that works for both sides. It doesn't work very well.
Sterling's on the 40. You do tend to find your kills start to increase pretty quickly when you're just 4King on the CT side pretty consecutively. So... Again, this double AWP setup. Renegades, slow approach from them. Still haven't seen them go for like a... I've only seen them go for like a quicker mid to B once or twice. Wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Definitely room for both teams to abuse that part of the map. I feel like there's just been such a focus on this A side and just going for these executes and going for these long takes.
Perfect molly into that position. Forces Hats to use a smoke grenade. He's able to get out alive though. As they use utility to push off once again. Going to be testing Sterling, but so far he's been passing the exam with flying colours.
Dropping that utility, delaying that A site execute. It's 50 seconds on the clock. Renegades very much centralized on the map. All gathered up around Catwalk or towards middle.
And AVANT might have just gamble stacked at the wrong area. They've gone 3 into the B bomb site, but it's actually going to be A. Out comes the players, but Sterling once again still gets the shots for himself. The bullets flying in his way, but he's not perturbed at all, but he finally misses a shot, but Renegades just cannot seem to connect onto Sterling. Finally, he gets put down, but it's a 4-on-3 still.
He's created so much space though, like Renegades were so timid crossing to that bomb site that they're only just now getting the bomb down. Push straight in, just instantly cleaned up, and that's the map. A superb CT side from AVANT, 3 in a row in OT. That's incredible.
Yep, and now onto their T side as well, which means that they have everything to work with. All they need to do is pick up a single one. Renegades, though, can they fight back? Can they find that stamina? That magic once again to bring it all the way back into overtime number 4.
AVANT going for that long control once again. It's going to be on Inns and Malta to hold that one down, I would imagine. Although, yeah, it's those two.
Oh, Inns, 1 for 1. Oh, Offnoot, though, better than 1 for 1. Is able to crack that part open.
All right, what do you do in this 3-on-4? You've lost long control. AVANT, after taking that part of the map, are just going to concede it. Keep things moving. Smoke onto Xbox. Going to crab walk across T-spawn and go back towards the B side of the map.
Yep, not a bad idea to be testing out Hats, who's been looking a little bit weak so far this series. 4 members coming through. His only consolidation is that Offnu and Sterling both down into the 30 HP mark. You can see Renegades, they tried fighting for long control over at Car, now looking to re-aggress over at short at mid. And the longer the time ticks away, Hats is going to suspect it's the B bomb site. It's just going to be a contact play. He's in the perfect position for that, but he looks away at the wrong time. Dexter's here though, and he's peeking out into the AWP. It's all down to the 1 and 2. Sicko has to make this work out.
Smoked off at door, molly onto window. He's going to have to either gamble through this smoke and choose his timing correctly, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Walk straight into APOC, and that's it.
AVANT finally managed to take it. 3 overtimes, a lot to discuss, but we're just going to go to a break shortly, and then we'll be right back.